What's up, movie lovers? I'm Mike, and this is Gotta Love Them Movies. You guys, welcome back to Gotta Love Them Movies, your daily dose of movie news. I'm your host, Mr. Mike Brown. I'm here all the time. And you guys, what a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday afternoon. One of the reasons why Tuesday, or rather today, is such a wonderful day, is that tomorrow is my fiance's birthday. What? Yeah. So we've got some fun surprises. We're going to talk more about this tomorrow because I've got some pretty cool surprises up my proverbial sleeves. So tonight is going to be all about preparation. She knows something's coming. She doesn't know what's coming. And just in case she happens to be watching the show, I can't share with you what my birthday's plans for her are for tomorrow. But I think they're going to be pretty fun, pretty cool. Anyway, joining me on her unbirthday is a very good friend of mine. I've known her for quite a while. Fellow comedian, improviser, stand-up poet. I'm going to throw poet in there. Why not? Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Irene Carroll. Woo, 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 woo. Oh, man. Irene, did your screen freeze? Oh, this is the worst. You guys, whenever we have a live show, sometimes there are technical difficulties. Sometimes things happen. So, Irene, if you can hear me, I'm going to hang up on you. Are you still there? Wave your arms. Nope, she's gone. Okay, so I'm hanging up on Irene. Irene, I sure hope you call me back. Here's the thing, you guys. Best laid plans. The best laid plans. Am I right? Am I right? I think I'm pretty right. Anyway, guys, we've got a pretty cool show lined up for you. We have some speculative things to talk about. We have some definitive things to talk about. But we are just, let's see if Irene is back yet. Nope, not quite yet. All right, here's what I'm going to do. Oh, she's calling me. Oh, she's calling. How is this not working? You guys, like I said, the best laid plans. This is the absolute worst. I'm sorry. So, tell you what, I'm gonna try and do two things at the same time. Let's see if we can do it. Just bear with me for a second. It's the beginning of the show. Things are gonna happen. Things are gonna shut down and fall apart. We'll see if we can get Irene back on the line anytime now. Here she is. We're calling right now. Like I said, you guys, best laid plans. Sometimes you think you're doing everything what you should be doing, and it doesn't work the way that you had thought. All right, it says Irene is unavailable. Oh, of course she is. What a day, you guys. What a day. Again, oh, is Irene there? Irene, are you finally back?
Hi. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Irene Carroll.
That was so funny. I could hear you the whole time. And I was like, yeah, what's up? And then I was like, wait, I'm just doing a thumbs up symbol.
Irene, I am so sorry about that. Every now and again, it's this wonky thing where, like, I'll connect into my guests and they just get frozen. I mean, you were frozen. I don't know if you could see, but you were frozen on that thumbs up. It was so good.
Yeah.
It was so lovely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for bearing with us through our technical difficulties. Irene, thank you for joining us. Can you just give us a brief background about yourself? What makes you qualified to sit around and talk movies and movie news?
Yeah, well, I do like movies. Can I just say, too, because of all the streaming services, I just started to, give away my DVD collection, which made me so sad because it's hard to not want to keep it forever and ever, but I can literally watch Doctor Who or Harry Potter on anything pretty much, so I don't know why I need to hold on to those.
Physical media is one of those things that, I stopped collecting discs. Blu-rays, DVDs. I stopped collecting physical media maybe about 5 years ago. I didn't get rid of it, but I got rid of the jewel cases. I kept all the discs and put them into those 500 bag bundle carry cases.
Yeah,
you know what? Yeah. So
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
But I don't know if that's really why I can talk about movies, but I can talk about it because I'm also, an improviser, creator. I write. I do a lot of pop culture things. I've been to New York Comic Con 6 times.
What? That's a lot.
I know there's more people who've
That's
been
a
like,
lot.
I've been 24 times, but I think six is a lot.
Hey,
It's not a
yeah, I
bad
mean,
number,
why does it need to be a competition? Why can't we just enjoy
right?
fandom at our own levels of fandom?
Yeah, I agree. I'm a fan. So I'm a fan of movies. I'm a fan of fun, cool, comic-y things. So
Well, thank you so much for joining, Irene. Thanks for giving us a second voice and perspective and opinion. And we're gonna have some fun today. Like I said, you guys, we got some interesting things to talk about. We've got some speculative type things to talk about. We've got some more concrete, I guess, things to talk about. Anyway, we'll get into it in a minute. But before we do, don't forget to head over to youtube.com and type in "Gotta Love Them Movies" in the top right hand corner of the screen. You will see a little red rectangle that says subscribe. Go ahead and click on that button. What clicking on that button does is it helps us to widen our subscriber base. And with the more subscribers we get, the more watch content the channel gets. So I very much appreciate your support, helping me to make this show my full-time job. Of course, as soon as we hit 1,000 subscribers, the live portion of the show will move from Facebook to YouTube. So just something to be aware of. Keep on your radar there. And as always, guys, if you want to get a comment or a question on the show, all you have to do is email me at gottalovethemmovies@gmail.com. And as long as it's family friendly, we'll put it on the show and make your comment or question, whatever it is about movies or movie news. If you have a theory, if you heard something from, hey, what's going on with this rumor over here? We'll break it apart, we'll break it down, and we'll talk about it. All right, guys, with all that down and out of the way, now it's time to go and take a little bit of movie news.
What?
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 All right, you guys, we are going to break apart some of this movie news right now. And our first bit of news isn't movie news per se. It is movie tangential related. If you were watching the show yesterday, we had to stop the show a little short. We were running low, a little long on time. And one of the stories that we were going to talk about yesterday was about Disneyland, specifically Avengers Campus in Disneyland. Now, a lot of us haven't been to Disneyland for quite a while. Their doors have been closed for 8 months or something like that. We're rolling up pretty close to a year at this point. And which is actually kind of given builders and constructors the opportunity to finish completing and finish building some of these rides that they've been working on. Most predominantly have been Avengers Campus. Now, a lot of promotional photos like the one that you see here, a lot of these types of photos have been put out and saying, hey guys, we're building Avengers Campus in Disneyland. Now, previously, there had been a big rights issue between Disney and Universal Studios. Universal had the exclusive rights for rides. I mean, that's why at Universal Studios we see like the Hulk ride. There's the Doctor Doom drop. There's like the Spider-Man 3D kind of adventure ride kind of thing. Well, they finally were able to work these rights out, and whether they timed out or whether they worked out a deal, that is still a little unsure to me. But it is obvious Disneyland's California Adventure has been building an Avengers Campus for quite some time now. They have the Hank Pym Particle cafe boutique. There's a brand new Spider-Man ride that is promising to be very exciting. They already have the Guardians of the Galaxy droppy ride. I believe there's a second Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster being developed. There's an Iron Man ride. There's a Doctor Strange experience. All of these things are shaping up to be really, really incredible, you guys. And now, thanks to an Instagram, or rather a TikToker, I believe it's Magic. Oh, Discover.the-Magic. Thanks to Discover.the-Magic, we now have our first official look at what some of the lighting systems in the park might look like. Now, I'm not entirely sure how Discover Dot the Magic was able to get some of these these images, but it looks like they're standing fairly close outside to the perimeter of where they were allowed to be, either in the park, around the park. But we have our first official look as to what some of the lights, what the lighting effects are going to look on site. Now, as I say, this is not this is not going to be our first full look. This is a first look. This is a first look. There's still plenty of time for them to perfect things and get things smoothed over and worked over. Now, we know a lot of these rides are going to be high octane. They're going to be very interesting, obviously very thematic with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They might have a few surprises. Obviously, they're not going to be dropping spoilers in any of the rides, like for the movie or where the story for the films are going to go. But they are going to work conjunction, hand in hand with each other, and bring us, as Disney usually does, A-class entertainment. Now, Irene, I know that you are a huge Disneyland file. I think you said you used to go all the time. Those are your old stomping grounds. I've been twice. I've been to Disneyland twice. I usually go to Disney World twice a year, but it's very rare that I get out to Disneyland. You're familiar with the landscape much better than I am.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to go to the Guardians of the Galaxy ride last year, 2019. Before the pandemic hit. So the Guardians of the Galaxy ride is off the charts. That was incredible. But they were still in the early stages of building Avengers Campus. As someone who is familiar with the park, as someone who is familiar with the landscape, and also, the films and the culture regarding the MCU and surrounding the MCU, how does this strike you? What are you excited for? Does this lighting look like anything you expect it to look like? What's your knee-jerk reaction here?
Yeah, well, so, as you were saying, Disney World is huge, right? And Disneyland can only kind of encompass a certain area. The city has grown around.
They have a finite amount of space.
Yeah, and so I remember being a kid, and there was all these parking spots, and then they took over the parking spot to make California Adventure. And when it came out, it was a little like, people weren't that thrilled with it. So they had to make a lot of adjustments. They did the Toy Story ride. Twilight Zone dropped at the time, right? So good. Which obviously, I haven't been to Disneyland in a long time. Like me, sadly, even though that was a place I was at all the time when I was in high school, I would go every Friday. So, but yeah, my point being is that of course they have to change that whole California Adventure probably every 10 years or so to kind of make it an exciting new part of the park. So this Avenger Campus is going to be just, I think, a really good thrill thing, because also that part of the park is tiny compared to the rest.
Yeah.
And yet it's the same price.
They're going to be squeezing a lot of stuff in a very small area. Now, you had mentioned how Guardians of the Galaxy droppy ride used to be the Tower of Terror, the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. I am a massive fan of the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. And when I heard that they were changing it into Guardians of the Galaxy, my reaction was, boo, boo. And then I rode the ride.
Agreed.
It is incredible. Yeah. It is it's hard to say, because it's in concept it's the same ride, but the way that they've amped up the images, the way that they have redecorated the entire sets, and they've also changed the algorithms for how you drop and rise and fall and all that stuff. They've changed those algorithms entirely, and just to have this incredible Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack blaring in your ears as you're dropping and falling, it's exciting, it's fun. Whereas the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror is more, it's more fear-based. It has this whole atmospheric approach to it that's very, very different. And I love that we have two versions. They're not getting rid of Twilight Zone Tower of Terror in Florida. They're keeping that one intact, but I love that we now have two versions of the same ride, and it's glorious.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I mean. It's like they had to change that ride. They have to, everything in that part of the park, I think, is very malleable to kind of adapt into the next thing. And so to have Avengers Campus is going to be great for that whole area. And I mean, who doesn't want to be an Avenger, man?
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't want that?
Now, based on the images that we saw of the TikTok video that Discover the Magic posted on TikTok, it doesn't look like the lighting is completed yet. And even if it is, these are outsider photos kind of showing what, from their angle, from their perspective, what they can see. So do you think that based on what we currently are able to see from this TikTok account, that this is going to be indicative of something great? Or do you think it's a little letting down a little bit?
I don't know. I think when you only have half of the story, you won't be able to know, because I think it's gonna be cool. Like, Disney puts on amazing light shows forever. I can still think of the electric parade from when I was a kid and being awed by that. I could play that song like over and over, and now I can because Alexa lets me. But yeah, I mean, so they have smart lighting designers. I think it's going to be really great. There's probably going to be more purple that we can't see. We can kind of only see blue, right? That's all I
currently,
yeah. Purple and see. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great.
All fair points, but the question is for you guys: what do you think of this first look at Disneyland's Avengers Campus? Does it get you excited? Are you planning on going when Governor Gavin Newsom opens up all of the theme parks? Are you going to go back? Are you going to wait a while? Is this something that you are looking forward to, or are you just like, meh, I'm over it? Parks are the parks, and we've all done the parks before. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Jump on down into the comment section below and let me know what those are. All right, guys, moving on to our next bit of movie news today. Over the Super Bowl this last weekend, I wish I was able to sit here and report and say, tons of trailers have dropped. There have been so many announcements for television shows and movies coming out, and we get exclusive first looks. Yesterday on the show, we were talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and they dropped their first official trailer. We've had teaser trailers up until that, and as I said yesterday, I was a little underwhelmed. I was expecting maybe a little bit more. We still don't know what the story is going to be about. We don't know what the premise of Falcon and the Winter Soldier is. We know it's going to be an incredible character piece of a show, and I'm very much looking forward to it, but we didn't really get to sink our teeth into it, But one trailer was released, and if you're clicking on this video, this whole preamble is superfluous. One trailer was released. M. Night Shyamalan's Old. This is a movie that only came on my radar maybe a few weeks ago, and I thought, wow, this is an interesting concept. The whole basis of, actually, you know what? Let me jump right into the article real quick. I want to jump down to the bottom where M. Night Shyamalan gives the synopsis of what this film is about. He says, this summer, visionary filmmaker M. Night Shyamalan unveils a chilling, mysterious new thriller about a family on a tropical holiday who discover that the secluded beach where they're relaxing for a few hours is somehow causing them to age rapidly, reducing their entire lives into a single day. I think this is a really interesting concept. M. Night Shyamalan is one of those filmmakers that came out of the gate, blew everyone away with The Sixth Sense, 1999. Nobody'd ever heard of this guy before. Nobody knew how to pronounce his name, and he blew everyone away with this movie. And then he did it, well, maybe not blew everyone away, but again, kept people, his audiences to a very high expectation with Unbreakable. And then Signs. I wasn't the biggest fan of Signs. I don't know, a lot of other people are, but yeah, I mean, it was fine. It was okay, in my opinion. And then The Village. I love The Village. Not a lot of people liked it. I loved it. And then we had was the Bedtime Stories one, Lady in the Water, which it was it wasn't terrible, wasn't great. A lot of people didn't like it, but yeah, whatever. I feel like there was another one. I can't remember. And then we had the abomination of all abominations, Avatar: The Last Airbender. And it kind of destroyed his career. Right? And then we had After Earth, which wasn't very good. He wrote the movie Devil. He didn't direct it, but he wrote the movie Devil. I believe he also produced it. Boy, oh boy, was that a good movie. Woof. 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 And then, you know, as his children started growing up and some of his terrible movies had some time to be behind him, then he came out with The Visit. Wow. That was a great movie. And then Split, also really good movie with James McAvoy. And then we get Glass, which was the continuation of Split and Unbreakable, and yeah, it was okay. And then he had the television series on, I think it's Apple TV Plus, The Servant. I still have yet to watch The Servant. It's on my to watch list. But now we get our first real look and concept and premise of the movie Old. Wow. This looks like a really, who knows where the story could go? For all we know, this could be a terrible movie. This could be a complete this could be a return to the Bedtime Stories, Lady in the Water movie. It could be. It could be complete garbage. But just based on the premise, it kind of feels like M. Night Shyamalan is getting back to his early storytelling days of like Unbreakable and Signs and now The Visit and stuff like that. Irene, have you had a chance to check out this trailer? What's your knee-jerk reaction? Are you as excited as I am for this movie, or are you just kind of like, I'm over M. Night Shyamalan? Where do you sit with this?
I like him still, and you just said you haven't seen The Servant yet, but please watch it. It's so amazing, and I really can't wait for a second season of that. No spoilers. It's just, as a mom watching it, it has a lot of feels while I'm watching it, because I'm a newish mom. I have a 20-month-old. So, but at the time she was a lot younger. So, but Lauren Ambrose is in it, and I love Lauren Ambrose. So, because I was a huge 6 Feet Under fan.
Sure.
But yeah, I think this is going to be great. Did you mention The Happening? Did you like
The Happening? That's the one that he did that kind of like put everybody way off.
I really liked that movie though, which people really didn't like it. So I was like, what's wrong with me?
I like the majority of the movie. I think when it ends and it's just this shot of like the breeze moving through the trees, and it's the trees are killing the people. Whoa.
It's a little Hitchcock though, like birds. Like the birds, it felt like that vein is what he was kind of going for.
The whole premise of people just like going crazy and killing themselves is brilliant. I don't think he nailed the land. He didn't execute the landing very well. But that imagery of people just like, you don't know what's caught. It's like this weird disease in the air that's happening.
Yeah.
And I really don't like the idea that it's the trees who are like, no, people have overpopulated the earth. We're going to take it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, come on. That I did not appreciate. But Mark Wahlberg's acting.
Right. It's a good one for him. But to get back to Old, I'm sorry, I did digress a little. I think this is going to be great. I think just like any movie where you are in an isolated atmosphere, which showed right off the bat in the trailer, they're on this beautiful, beautiful beach. It just kind of makes that alone feeling. It's like Cabin in the Woods style, like they're alone. There's nothing to help them. So you kind of got that vibe a little bit. And then, I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher his name, Gael.
I know the other films that he's been in. I just can't think of his name. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But he's in that movie that is super scary about where everybody loses their sight. He's in that movie. So I feel like this is a genre for him. I think it's called Sight.
Is it Garcia Bernal? But it's Gail?
Yeah.
Is it Gail?
Oh, Gael.
Gael?
Is it Gael? Yeah, I thought it was Gael. Like Gael.
Yeah.
I might have said Gail. My bad. In my brain, it went. I just was looking at the letters. He's pretty nice on the eyes too, Mike. I won't lie.
Ooh, I see where you're going with this. I see your motivation. Okay, all right, okay.
So it's a happily married lady.
Anyway, guys, a question for you is: have you had a chance to see the trailer for M. Night Shyamalan's Old? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Are you somewhere in between? What are your thoughts? Jump on down to the comment section below and let me know what those are there. All right, guys, moving on to our next bit of movie news, and I promise you, this is movie news. For a long time, we have been hearing rumors of various Dungeons and Dragons properties coming up. Thanks to Lord of the Rings, I feel like Peter Jackson has really paved the way for solid fantasy films. The thing that is extremely problematic is that ever since Lord of the Rings, people have been trying to make really epic fantasy films on the cheap, and it hasn't worked really to anyone's favor. We know that there's an upcoming Willow sequel in the works. I'm really excited for that over at Lucasfilm. But for the here and now, Dungeons and Dragons, given with all of its problematic history in the past 15, 20 years, we're finally getting like a legit D&D movie starring Chris Pine. And now, as it's being reported today, Michelle Rodriguez and Justice Smith are also joining the cast. Now, if I can jump into this article from Collider for a second, they describe the characters, or rather, franchise experience that's invaluable in Hollywood, where it denotes an ability to roll with the punches, because making big budget movies is nothing if not a series of blows. This is very, very true. Latest in the franchise, going to be joining Michelle Rodriguez as well as Justice Smith. Now, if you're not familiar with Justice Smith, he is the guy, he's one of the characters in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I did not like Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, nor did I like his character in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. He was the helpless, hapless, nerdy guy who knew how to do anything computer related, and quite literally anything beyond that was outside of his wheelhouse. He was completely incapable of doing anything besides computer related stuff. So that was a huge waste of his character. I really liked Justice Smith, I will say, in the Pokemon movie. Was it a breathtaking performance? No, but he had a solid performance, and I thought the movie was okay. I kind of enjoyed the movie. I didn't think it was great, but it was fine, and I liked him in it. I just really did not like Justice Smith in Fallen Kingdom. I thought it's a garbage movie with garbage performance. Sorry, is what it is. But Justice Smith in this, let's go to the filmmakers for a second. If you've seen the movie Game Night with oh shoot, why am I blanking on their names? The Notebook and Horrible Bosses, Arrested Development. Oh shoot, why can't I think of their names? Justin Bateman. Thank you. Justin Bateman. Jason. Justine Bateman. That's his sister. Justin Bateman.
Yeah.
Oh man, Teen Wolf himself. Whatever. Game Night. If you've seen the movie Game Night, it was one of the best comedies in the past decade. Is it a great movie? No, it was okay. But here's the thing. The directors from Game Night will also be helming this Dungeons and Dragons movie starring Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez and Justice Smith. Putting them in respective roles where, of course, like Chris Pine is going to be playing like the hero, which, okay, sure, yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. Cool. Michelle Rodriguez is going to be, the kickbot warrior. And of course, Justice Smith is the half elf, half wizard, timid, afraid of everything kind of character, which I do, like I said, Fallen Kingdom, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, it seems like this is going to be a repeat performance of that character or an archetype of that character. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling, if that's the direction that they actually do indeed take this in and try to make those comedic moments out of his timid nature of being scared by everything, it doesn't sound appealing to me. Chris Pine sounds appealing. Michelle Rodriguez sounds appealing. The directors from Game Night sound appealing. Especially if they take this in the direction of like that kind of a comedy movie, which I've been saying to my fiance, Irene, in the past 10 plus years, comedies, like good comedies in the movies, are few and far between nowadays. Popstar Never Stop, Never Stopping is, in my opinion, the best comedy out of the past 15 years. That was an incredible comedy movie.
Which one's that?
Andy Samberg and The Lonely Island. It was kind of a rip, or not a rip off, but it was a mockumentary in the same style as like that Justin Bieber documentary movie that came out. Popstar Never Stop, Never Stopping. Genius, hysterical. I loved it, and it actually had something poignant and timely to say. So yes, I feel like the world that we live in now, we are in need of more documentaries. We could always use more documentaries, let's be honest. But yeah, more comedies. We don't have that many good comedies, and we haven't tried, or when I say we, I mean Hollywood hasn't really tried a comedy version of a fantasy project. I could really dig this. Of course, like, you could say that about anything. If it's done right. Well, if anything's done right, yeah, I get it. It's hard to make a movie. Getting a movie made is hard, and then making a good movie is even harder. So, I don't know, Irene, like, where do you stand with this? Like, Dungeons and Dragons, comedy, Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Justice Smith, in the style of Guardians of the Galaxy. Does this sound interesting to you?
I'm not so familiar with this world. All I can see is like the big video game and watching people play it, and the arcades from when I was younger. Like, that's kind of like where my information about and I know they had TV shows and stuff, but I'm not totally familiar with all the characters and all that. But I will say I love Justice Smith in The Get Down. I think he was brilliant in that. So I do think he's a strong actor. And yeah, but is it multi-level enough of a character? Who knows? We won't know until we see it. But yeah, and I didn't like that second Jurassic Park movie either. So I get what you're saying. The first one was so good. Why did the second one have to fall so far? But Chris Pine also, it's like another franchise for that guy. Like, kind of.
I know, right?
I love him in Star Trek. I love him in I think he does a great job playing Captain Kirk. But it's just like, I don't know if I need you in the lead of another franchise.
Why not? Who cares?
I guess. I don't know. I just don't know. I guess we'll see how it goes. But I do love some Michelle Rodriguez. Big fan from the way back. I have only probably seen 3 Fast and Furious films. I don't know if I've seen all of the 9.
You know how many I've seen?
But there are. How many? The first
I saw
one.
the first one when it first came out, and then never watched another one. I've been wanting to sit down and marathon all of them together. I've just never done it.
Yeah. That last one looks pretty great. I mean, like, quite a quick tribute and everything to
people were saying good things about it.
The guy who passed away.
And now we know in Fast 9 they're going to outer space.
Fast 9, right. So Fast 8 is the one that was like the big tribute movie.
Yeah. I think so. I think so.
Never saw it.
Think so.
Right. Why?
Paul Walker.
What's his? Paul Walker.
From the Skulls. From Paul Walker from Tammy and the T-Rex. Have you, please, everyone, if you're watching this, do yourself a favor, drop what you're doing, watch Tammy and the T-Rex. I believe the whole movie is streaming on YouTube. Go look it up. It's brilliant.
Drop what you're doing after you finish watching this.
Yeah. Speaking of which, guys, what do you think of the new Dungeons and Dragons movie starring Chris Pine, being directed by the same directors as Game Night? They're talking about some strong Guardians of the Galaxy kind of vibes. Are you looking forward to seeing Justice Smith and Michelle Rodriguez team up in kind of like an action comedy fantasy movie? Is this something that interests you? Are you not interested at all? I am interested in hearing your thoughts. Jump on down to the comment section below and let me know what those are. All right, guys, we have one last bit of movie news to cover. And this is, I need to preface this by saying this is, it's not complete speculation. How do you preface this? So, as we know, Spider-Man 3 is currently filming down in Atlanta. Disney and Marvel Studios refuse to tell Tom Holland any of the nitty-gritty details about what is happening in the movie and who the big characters and some of the big reveals are in the movie, for fear that he is going to spoil things before it's time for them to be talked about or spoiled or promoted or anything like that. Reports are coming about this and reports are coming about that. We know Alfred Molina is in the movie, reprising his role as Doc Ock. We know Jamie Foxx is in the movie, reprising his role as Electro. We know that Sony has been teasing Ned Leeds, the actor Jacob Batalon, coming in as Hobgoblin at some point. Who knows? Michael Keaton as the Vulture was previously in the film. Mac Gargan, the Scorpion, was in the first Homecoming movie. The Shocker, 2 versions of the Shocker have been here. Is Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio actually dead? We don't know. J. Jonah Jameson has now crossed over from that universe into this universe. Hey, multiverse, it's happening. Now in WandaVision, spoilers, I'm not going to talk about them, but spoilers about multiverse type stuff have started happening in the WandaVision series. So we know the multiverse is going to play a huge role in this. Question is Willem DeFoe going to come back and play the Green Goblin? It's possible. Green Goblin is Spider-Man's ultimate #1 villain of all time. You think Batman, you think the Joker. You think Wonder Woman, you think Cheetah. You think Superman, you think Lex Luthor. You think Spider-Man, you think Green Goblin. So this particular website, GWW, I've never heard of it before. They're probably just as reputable as Gotta Love Them Movies, right? Who knows? Who knows? I have no idea of the validity of this. In this particular article on GWW, they are reporting that Willem Dafoe has been spotted on set in Atlanta of Spider-Man 3. It says, back in December, the Illuminerd reported Willem Dafoe was in talks to join the packed cast of the MCU Spider-Man 3. Well, now we can fully support this claim, as sources close to GWW and the same ones who revealed to us that Alfred Molina was cast in the Spidey sequel have now informed us that Willem Dafoe has reported to the set as of today. Now, this article came out on February 5th. So, 4 days ago. So, as of 4 days ago, it is being reported that Willem Dafoe has been seen on the set of Spider-Man 3. And these are coming from the same sources who claimed or reported that Alfred Molina was also confirmed to come back and reprise his role as Doc Ock in the same movie. Take this with a grain of salt. Is this news true? Maybe. It might be true. It also might not be. We don't know who these sources are. Like I said, I've never heard of this website, GWW. It's possible that this is true. It's possible that they were the ones to break this story. The thing about it is that the GWW, as a news reporting agency or website or news source, they're not the same as Variety. They're not the same as Deadline. They're not the same as Rolling Stone. They're not the same. heck, even as Collider, they're not as reputable as Collider. Not to say that this isn't true. I'm not saying that it's not true. I'm just saying we need to take this information with a grain of salt. Willem Dafoe showing up on set as Green Goblin very well could happen. There's a very real chance that Tobey Maguire and or Andrew Garfield are going to make appearances in this movie. Very good chances. Has it been confirmed? No. None of that has been, like, those actors have not been confirmed. It has not been confirmed that Willem Dafoe is in the movie. It has not been confirmed that he's on set. It has not been confirmed that he was in talks to reprise his role of Green Goblin for this movie. These are all rumors. So while it's fun and interesting to talk about them and to get excited about, oh man, you want to talk the Sinister Six? There's no better character to have in the Sinister Six than Green Goblin. And especially Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. Like, what a great version. What a, like, almost iconic, dare I say, perfect depiction of the Green Goblin. Now, of course, yeah, like the green plastic mask, that was hokey, but Willem Dafoe himself, mwah, perfect, right? This could be really cool. But knowing what we already know with Jamie Foxx and Alfred Molina, seeing this version of the Green Goblin come back would just be icing on the cake. This is not going to break down any walls. This is not going to be jaw-dropping, what, like that kind of news, right? That was the news for Jamie Foxx's Electro. Like, we were all, aruga, like that's how we got about the news for Jamie Foxx was going to come back and portray Electro for a second time. If this is true, if Willem Dafoe is coming back to reprise the Green Goblin in the Spider-Man 3 movie, it will be awesome. It will be very rewarding for the fans to see and behold, especially the way that the multiverse is going to unfold the way that we kind of hope and think it might. But this is also not the most shocking of news. We need to take this with a grain of salt. It hasn't been confirmed. We can't take this to the bank. We don't actually know anything yet. But Mike, GWW has been reporting this for 4 days now. Yeah, I get it. But did you like that? My little old man. But Mike,
I almost did a spit take. Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, we don't have any firm confirmation yet. We don't, like, nobody. I'm sorry, my autofocus is out of. There we go. We don't have any firm confirmation. It's rumored. Is it true? Yeah, maybe. Could be. I don't know. But also maybe not. So let's not run around, start shouting from the rooftops, it's been confirmed, because nothing has been confirmed yet. It's being reported through a rumor, and the rumor might be true, but they're not the most reputable website. Irene, I just ranted for about 20 minutes about this whole thing. How do you feel about these kinds of rumors? And like, how do you feel about GWW? Maybe you've heard of them, maybe you haven't. Do you think that this is a reputable source of information? Do you think this is true? Where do you stand?
I have to say, I also enjoyed your impression of like the Roger Rabbit moment that you did. I also enjoyed that a lot. And a lot of laughs while you were talking all about this.
Aruga!
Yeah, GWW, so what's that? George Washington Warnerversity?
Yeah, Warnerversity, yeah.
Warnerversity? I don't know. Yeah, I have not heard of it. So yeah, you're right. I don't think you can take it to heart. But when people talk about stuff, they sometimes get stuff to happen, right? So putting it out there, maybe it will happen because it's been talked about. So, but I think Willem Dafoe, first off, I always think of How I Met Your Mother, where they go, Willem Dafoe, Willem Dafoe.
I loved How I Met Your Mother, but I don't remember that moment.
Ted is at the architecture party, and he gets to like meet the guy who creates all the New York Times crosswords, and he's super stoked to just like be at this party while his friends are like, ugh. Anyway, and they meet the director who wears the bow tie to the
John Waters. I don't know. So I want to address one thing that you said earlier. Where like sometimes just by talking about something, and if you get enough people talking about it, sometimes you can bring that thing to fruition. The one fly in the ointment here is that they're currently filming. They're not going to change the script midway through filming just because we want this thing to happen. I understand that, you know, by fans talking and saying, that's not how Sonic the Hedgehog should look. Then they delayed the film and they made the proper adjustments and they changed the look of Sonic the Hedgehog, and it actually turned out to be for the better. But sometimes fans clamoring and saying, meh, usually isn't the best course of action there.
You're pulling out so many great characters right now. Like it's
I'm an improviser. What else should I do?
What else can you do? Nothing. There's nothing else to do. Yeah. No, I agree. You're right. I don't know. I think that you're right. They can't change the script, but maybe there were talks about it before, and who knows? I don't know. It will be cool. It sounds like it's gonna be a cool movie. I mean, you know, they're not telling anything to Spider-Man, because if he talked about it, he'd blow everything out of the water. Press tour with him. So, you know, we just don't know.
That's the whole thing. Funny. We don't know. We don't have any firm things right now. It's a little bit more nebulous. But question for you guys is: do you think that this rumor is true? If it is, if Willem Dafoe actually ends up showing up on set in the movie, what implications would that make for the future MCU that haven't already been made through Doc Ock or Jamie Foxx's Electro? I'm interested in hearing your thoughts. Jump on down to the comment section below and let me know what those are. All right, guys, we've moved on to the portion of the show where we have finished our final topics for the day. Now we're going to move into our live comments. Some of you have been firing in live comments and questions all show long, and I'd like to talk about those now in a little segment we call comment
live comments. Comments that are live.
Yes, comments that are live. How about that?
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
All right, guys, some of you have been firing in live comments and questions all show long, so let's go ahead and start at the beginning. Let me get Irene back up on screen. There we go. Our first comment is from Matthew Wiles. Matthew, a longtime viewer of the show. Thanks for sticking with us. Woo! We're in, our 5th month, 6th month, something like that? Matthew, you're true blue. Matthew says, all the way from Leeds in England, sad times. If Disney World in the U.S. might be a place I can only visit once in my life. You are completely correct in what you just said. Disney World. Sorry, I'm biased. I'm biased. Like Disney World is that's where my heart goes. That was my first Disney experience. Disneyland was always on the other side of the country. So I have a profound fondness for Disney World versus Disneyland. I mean, Irene, you said that in your high school years you went to Disneyland every week.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a pass. I would go all the time. So, of course, I'm a Disneyland person. Also, it was first. So, you wouldn't have had Disney World without some land before it. Just putting that out
there.
Hey,
you wouldn't have the MCU if it weren't for Iron Man, but I'm sorry. Avengers is better than Iron Man. Just saying. Matthew Wiles goes on to say, I don't hold out much hope for old. Shyamalan is not a name I associate with films I like. Interesting. The twist for old is probably something to do with the sea and overfishing. I mean, I don't know, maybe. I mean, we have no details. We have no idea what is this supernatural component that is aging people on this beach. I think it's an interesting concept and something that I mean, again, like Irene pointed out, the movie The Happening has a terrible ending. It's a great premise. When you watch the trailer, you're like, oh, this is grim and dark and creepy, and I like it. And then you watch a movie, it's terrible. So it could be terrible, could be stupid, but I want to know.
Yeah,
I want to know.
me too. I want to know.
He goes on, Peter Jackson paved the way for fantasy movies and then tore up the path with The Hobbit. Ooh.
Oh,
It's true.
Oh.
It's true.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. That would be an unpopular or a popular opinion.
I would say
maybe?
popular, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and crap on the Hobbit movies and say they're terrible and garbage. They're not garbage movies.
I couldn't
They're
get through
just
them.
not any.
Yeah.
They're nowhere near as good. Nowhere near as good.
No, boring. I don't know. I just feel like they pushed it for too many movies. If it had just been one movie, it might have been more interesting because you cut away the part that you don't need, to tell the story, right? So, but instead they elongated stuff for things to broaden it out into what? 3 movies? Was it 3 movies?
3 movies, yeah.
It was too many movies.
I'm of two minds about it. I mean, yes, there's the part of me that says, could we have just all condensed it into either one movie or at most 2 movies? I think there's an argument there to extend it out to two films. However, all of the inclusion of all the other stuff that wasn't in the book, I find fascinating and also too much. Right? It's a little too self-indulgent. The Hobbit was filmed digitally, whereas Lord of the Rings was filmed on film. So that changed the feeling of the movies. He also filmed in 60 frames per second. On the first film, they filmed it in 60 frames per second and then released it in theaters at 60 frames per second, which felt weird. It didn't even feel like a film. It felt like you were watching the BBC. The BBC does a documentary about this guy, Bilbo Baggins, from the Shire. That's what it felt like. I don't know. Like, yeah, you're right. He really kind of messed the bed with The Hobbit.
Yeah. I was going to say too, though, to your point, Mike, that, this is what's so good about what Disney can do is that they take experiences and that are not familiar from the movies, and then you can experience the movie in a new way, right? But maybe that's not the same idea that should be in the movies themselves. They should just be telling the story at hand, right?
I mean,
don't know. Just putting it out there.
It's all character, What you're got to be invested somehow. But yeah, if the story meanders too much.
And if you're immersed into it, like into an environment, well, then that's cool. Oh, this is different. This is cool. This is exciting, But when you're watching it on screen, it's there and you're here.
It's the difference between being at an improv show and telling someone about an improv show that you saw.
Yes.
Like you can yes.
Go
to the best improv show you ever seen in your life, and it's magical and it's electric and it's fantastic and everybody's firing at all cylinders. And then you go away and tell your best friends, "Oh, so I was at this show and this thing happened," and like blah, 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 blah. And people are like, "I don't." Okay.
Yeah. And they were talking about baseball, and it was really funny.
It's like whenever people find out that I'm into comic books and they try to tell me about comic books, and I'm like, it's just because it's an interest that I have doesn't mean that I'm interested in what you're telling me right now. But they're comic books, okay?
These comic books,
you don't get it. The cosplay is comic book, okay? Like an actual comic book. That was your cosplay? Yeah. Great. Good for them. Awesome. Matthew Weil says, I'm so excited for DeFoe. That's going to be amazing. No one can pull off a Green Goblin smile like him. I agree. No one can pull off a Green Goblin smile like him. I wouldn't get your hopes up about Green Goblin. Is he in the movie? Maybe. I will give you a solid maybe. It's a 50%. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. Here's the thing about like rumors coming through smaller websites. If a rumor like this comes out through Deadline or Variety or The Hollywood Reporter or Collider or Rolling Stone or a reputable magazine like that, or news outlet like that, or, you know, even any major news outlet, you know, that means that there's actual credibility. This rumor has been vetted, and they can't release their sources, but they're 99% confident this is true. You don't have the same vetting resources when you're a small-time website. Again, not saying it isn't true. They just don't have the vetting capability. So when someone says, oh boy, I saw Tom Holland walking through Midtown. Well, obviously that means that Spider-Man is filming in New York City. No, it just means that all it means is somebody said they saw him do this. Did he actually do it? I don't know. Somebody said that they saw something. And it's that crucial bit of information that we're not. So don't take it to the bank yet. Don't get too excited. I agree with you. Nobody else can play the Green Goblin like him, but I don't know. Irene?
Yeah. Well, didn't they say also in that article, it's like the person that's saying this is credible? Didn't I read that word in there? I thought maybe it was one of the other articles you sent me, but I remember being like, okay, so you've just said the word credible.
It says, we can now fully support this claim as sources close to the GWW and the same ones who revealed to us that Alfred Molina was cast in the Spidey sequel have now informed us Willem DeFoe has reported to the set as of today and will, in fact, play a role in the upcoming threequel. It doesn't say what role he will be playing. It just says he will be playing a role. But it doesn't actually confirm anything. It just says we can now fully support this claim as sources close to GWW and the same ones who revealed to us. So we have this bit of information, and it's being combined with a previous bit of information that turned out to be true. And that person who is, as we're saying, credible now, they've reported this information that he's on set and will be doing blank.
Yeah. Maybe juggling.
Maybe he's just there to entertain the actors and to, like, whoever actually is playing the Green Goblin, here's how you play the Green Goblin. Maybe that's what he's doing. Who knows? Maybe he's doing acting training.
Maybe. Yeah, that's totally what he could be doing. You know what's funny is that so many reviews I hear about him is that he always overacts.
Willem DeFoe?
Yeah, it's like there's all these movies from when he was really younger, and there was some movie that he did, I can't remember if it was some kind of weird William Freakin movie that he did. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like William DeFoe overacts, and then there was something else that I was reading. William DeFoe overacts.
Maybe.
But I think it's just his face. His face is so expressive, so he's perfect for Green Goblin.
Well, he is perfect for Green Goblin. I will say that. Our next and last comment, also from Matthew Wiles. I saw that there was somebody else who made comments on here. Someone from Pakistan, and I wanted to address it. But now the comments are gone. I can't find them anywhere. So if you see me kind of like looking at my phone while you're talking, that's what I'm doing.
Where did they go?
The comments have been deleted, and I wish I could find them, but I don't know.
Should have screenshot it.
Oh man, should have, would have, could have. Matthew Wiles in our last comment of the day says, "You're crushing my dreams in a funny way, so it feels nice." You're welcome.
This is like, you're welcome.
You're welcome, Matthew.
Yeah, there you go.
I hope I'm not crushing your dreams. That's the last thing that I want to do. I just want to make sure you temper your dreams a little bit. Temper your expectations a little bit, mister. all of this kind of harkens back to me about, oh man, was it 10 years ago? It was a little over 10 years ago. There were reports flying around that this was long before Tom Holland as Spider-Man was put into Captain America Civil War. I was like, that Captain America movie. Long before Sony and Marvel ever struck a deal. Long before that. Some of these smaller time news outlets like We Got This Covered or Cosmic Book News. Don't ever believe what you read in any one of those two rumor mill websites. We Got This Covered, Cosmic Book News. Don't believe it. Ever. Even if it's true, don't believe it. Check your sources. But these small-time websites were reporting that both the X-Men, Spider-Man, and Daredevil and Ghost Rider were all being absorbed into the MCU. This was after the MCU had been created, but long before any deals had been made to share characters. And I could not tell. I was working my flight attendant job at the time, and I remember reading this article on my phone, popped up, and people were sharing it. I was like, oh, and I got so excited. I started telling all the rest of my cabin crew coworkers about it, and they were like, okay. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. And none of them turned out to be true. None of them were true. I got so excited, and I was so let down. I remember even long before the internet existed. The internet existed long before I was born, but in the early 90s, I was such a big fan of X-Men. Such a huge fan of X-Men. And all the kids at school knew it. So what they did is they came up with this incredible lie to say, Mike, did you hear that they're going to make an X-Men movie? Now, when I say the 90s, I'm talking 1991, 1992. The first X-Men movie didn't come out until the year 2000. But they started telling me, hey, we're going to make fun of this Mike Brown kid. He loves X-Men so much. Did you hear that they're making it? And it was their way of getting my hopes up, knowing that there was no way that anybody could ever deliver on those dreams. And it sucked. It was so stupid. Such a stupid little prank. But that's why I tell people, like, don't get your hopes up. Don't get your expectations up. Temper your expectations. Follow the source. See where it's coming from. See if it's credible. If it's credible, okay, maybe get your hopes up a little bit. But I wouldn't get your hopes up for this one. Not saying it's not true. Just don't get your hopes up. Irene?
If you don't know, we don't know. We don't know. That's why you can't say it's true or not. We just don't know.
No clue.
But wow, talk about like being one for your people, Mike. You're like, I'm gonna help you not feel the feelings I had. Here you go, people.
It sucks. It sucks.
Yeah. It sounds like a 91 X-Men movie would have been crazy. What would that have been like?
See, in 91, I was 9 years old. I was 9 years old in 91.
I was 11. Yeah.
And, oh, man. That would have just rocked my socks. Can you imagine, like...
Yeah, so that means I was in 5th grade. Were you in 3rd grade or 2nd grade?
2nd? I remember...
Yeah.
Oh, man. What was it? Yeah, 2nd grade.
Because you're 8, 9 in 2nd grade or 9, 10 in 3rd grade. So.
I was 9, 10. Yeah,
okay,
I was 9,
so
10.
3rd grade. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm just saying, like, that would have been a crazy movie back then. I don't know if they could have done it. I don't know how they would have done it.
They would have done it in the same way that they did those original Captain America movies for like $1 million, a budget. Did you ever see the Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie that was never released? I mean, it's on YouTube now, but it was never like released.
Oh no!
So bad. It's an enjoyable
Fantastic
watch.
Four is never really questioned very well. Like it's never. I feel like anytime they do a Fantastic Four movie, I just always sort of.
Not Marvel Studios. Well, I always say in Kevin Feige I trust. So.
Because there's a new one coming, right?
Yeah. There's no date for it set. We'll just see. We'll see. Anyway, this conversation's starting to meander a little bit, which is an indication
We'll
to me.
see.
We'll just have to see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Irene, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for bringing an alternate perspective and an extra voice to the show. Thank you so much for contributing. Hope to see you back again soon.
Yeah. Do I get to tell you about my class that's
I
coming
was
up?
just about to intro that a little bit. Would you care to tell us
Okay.
some of your projects coming up? Give yourself some plugs, and where can people find you online?
Yeah. Oh, cool. Sorry, I thought you were about to go away. So I was like,
Mwahahaha.
let me tell you. Yeah, no, I teach. I have my own website called Irene Carroll Improv. It's also on Facebook, so if people want to go and like that, they'll hear about my classes. But I do a lot of kids classes. So if you have teens or kids that are looking for classes, can set up a whole class just based around your kid alone. So you should reach out to me. But I'm also teaching adults because I do that too. And I have a class on February 23rd, and it is a character workshop. So yeah, I think in these times when we're improvising in our houses, it's best to kind of just focus on big characters right now. So that is with my theater company and theater company. I'll post all the info on Facebook so you can find it. And yeah, so that's what's coming up for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love
And on
that.
Instagram, Twitter, people can find you at @AndScene Irene.
Yeah, that's me. And scene.
And
Irene.
scene. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Irene, thanks so much for joining, and hope to see you back again soon.
Thanks.
All right, guys, if you like this video, click like. If you really like this video, click subscribe. And if you really, really like this video, click share. Because that is exactly what Willem Dafoe's The Green Goblin would want you to do. You guys, if you have a question about the show, if you want to ask a question about any rumor that you hear online. Oh, Willem Dafoe is going to be Green Goblin in Spider-Man. Send me an email at gottalovethammovies@gmail.com. If you have any movie-related question or television-related question or something that you heard that you just want to share, send me an email at gottalovethammovies@gmail.com. As long as it's family-friendly, we'll make it a main topic here on the show. You guys, we live in a weird, crazy world where everybody has their own thoughts and ideas, and sometimes those thoughts and ideas clash. So if you have an opportunity to infuse a little bit of kindness into the world, if you have an opportunity to speak kind words to each other, please, I implore you, take those opportunities. As always, in the words of Bill and Ted, be excellent to each other.
Nice.
I'll see you guys tomorrow.